Hi, it's Becky. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video. So today I wanted to talk about body image and specifically how it can be affected when you do suffer with a chronic illness. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my own experience and how I struggled with my body image, and then I am going to give some tips. Obviously the tips are generic, so even if you haven't got a chronic illness, they may help you. So the first thing to mention is, what is body image? And body image is the perception that you have of your image, of yourself, when you are thinking about yourself, the thoughts, the feelings that you have when you think about yourself, when you look in the mirror, and what you kind of see. Obviously these feelings can be impacted by a range of things, and chronic illness is just one of those that may impact it. But I think especially with today's society, it is extremely difficult for people to have a positive body image because we are bombarded with images of perfection all the time, and you know, everyone is guilty of doing that by only putting their best pictures up on Instagram and only posting the good things and all of that. So all of those contributing factors can sort of lead to a poor body image. So for me, I feel like I always had a pretty normal perception of my body. There were points where I thought I looked great, and there were points where I thought I didn't look so great, but it was pretty normal and it didn't really get me down very often. When I started to become poorly, before I was diagnosed, my body did start to change. I started to lose weight and I started to feel sluggish. My skin started to not look so great. So I started to look at myself in not a very positive light. The other thing is, when you are ill, your mindset isn't that great anyway, and especially if you are ill for a continuous long period. I feel like it isn't spoken about enough, the sort of mental health side of being chronically ill. Obviously it's hard to look in the mirror and see your body changing, and especially when you're not really doing anything to influence the change. You don't want your body to be changing like that, and it changes quite rapidly. I was losing weight quite quickly. So that was before I was diagnosed, and I felt sort of very weak and skinny, not the way that I wanted my figure to look. The other thing was I was also getting bloated a lot. So I was losing weight, but I had like a little pot belly, which I didn't like. My stomach had always been quite flat even when I was a little bit heavier, so I didn't feel confident at all. And then I was diagnosed with Crohn's and I was put on to Pred, which is notorious for making people's face blow up, and mine definitely did. Some people said they couldn't notice, but I could really tell the difference. It was kind of like here, my cheeks just looked so much bigger. So again, then looking in the mirror, I was then putting on weight and I didn't like what I was seeing. And it was getting to the point where I was really not liking my body. And it wasn't even just the sort of physical appearance of it, but when you are suffering with a chronic illness, you do feel like your body is failing you. And it is really hard to love your body when you feel like it's not loving you back. A lot of chronic illnesses are invisible illnesses, but to the person that has them, they aren't invisible, and we can see the changes. And whether those changes are down to the actual illness or the side effects from the medication, it really does have an impact on the person. So just to give you an example, I have a leaflet of a medication that I was prescribed the other day, and the common side effects are roundness of the face, weight gain, red stripes on the skin, i.e. stretch marks, acne, unwanted body hair in women, joint pain. There's other ones as well, but they're like the physical sort of looking ones. I literally read that and was like, great, I'm going to be a swollen, hairy beast. And obviously it isn't just something that affects women. Men are also affected by having a poor body image. It can be really difficult to look in the mirror and see, you know, weight loss or weight gain, bad skin, your hair falling out. You can look really weak and frail. Your skin can go a bit of a funny colour. All of these different things which you aren't really that prepared for. The thing is, whether you have a chronic illness or don't have a chronic illness, your body is going to go through changes. Having a chronic illness might just make those changes a little bit more sudden. And that is why it's so important for your body confidence to come from within rather than from what you look like. So these are the tips that I have found really helpful to kind of start to re-love my body again. So my first tip is to wear clothes that you feel comfortable in. I used to wear skin tight dresses when I would go on a night out, and that was what I felt comfortable, that's what I felt confident in. Now there's a high chance my stomach will bloat, so I no longer feel that confident wearing those kind of dresses. So I've found new things that I will feel confident in that don't sort of make me feel restricted. And it doesn't mean you have to dress like a slob all the time, and I definitely don't think you should, I say, wearing very slobby clothes. But it is just finding things that make you feel more comfortable, whether that's changing high-waisted trousers to ones with an elasticated waist, whether that is going up a size in a jumper, not so it's massive on you, but just so it's got a little bit more room for you to feel more comfortable. You know, whatever it is that is going to make you feel a little bit more comfortable, do that, but still make an effort for yourself. Tip number 2 is to exercise. Obviously that won't change your body overnight, and I don't think that should be the intention behind it. But for me, one of the main things that make me feel bad about my body is when I look at it, I think it looks weak and I don't feel like it is strong like it used to be. So that is what I want to do to sort of make it feel better. Exercise is really good for your mental state as well as your physical state, and when you start feeling in a better mind frame, you will just start to feel more positive about things in general, not just your body. Obviously I'm not saying if you've got a chronic illness that you should be running marathons and hitting the gym every day, but just going for a walk or doing some yoga, whatever suits your body and will make you feel better, just start doing that, just start doing it more regularly. Tip 3 is to work on your confidence. So when you know that you bring way more to the table than what you look like, you are going to feel better about yourself. So work on your confidence past your body image. You know, work on how confident do you feel about speaking to people? How confident do you feel in how intelligent you are? How confident do you feel with who you are past what you look like? That's what's important. I know what I bring to the table, and I know I bring a lot more than what is from the neck down. And just by having that mindset, by knowing your body isn't the be all and end all your body is the outer shell to hold everything else about who you are. So work on the everything else. Don't be so concerned about the outer shell of it. Tip 4 is to stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing yourself to people on Instagram. Stop comparing yourself to celebrities. Stop comparing yourself to who you were before you had a chronic illness. And I think that is one of the most important things. I look at pictures of myself from like 4 years ago and I'm like, oh God, my figure was so good then. Yeah, you weren't ill 90% of the time. It's not fair to compare yourself to a version of you that is completely different. Comparison is the thief of joy, and I completely agree with that. So if you are suffering with a poor body image, surround yourself with real images of real people. Stop following people on Instagram that make you feel rubbish about yourself. It isn't fair to yourself to try and compare yourself to those people. Start following people that make you feel better about yourself, that normalise normal bodies. So my last tip, and the tip that I think is the most important, is to look at your body with gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful. If you just start feeling grateful for things, it just makes you feel so much better. So if you start looking at your body, and rather than picking out all of the things it doesn't do and all of the things you wish it would do and all of the ways you wish it would look, start being grateful for it, for what it does do for you. You know, your legs for carrying you around, your back for holding you strong, your arms to be able to cuddle people, your hands to be able to write, all of these things that your body does for you, and even go right down to the functions it does without you even telling it to. It breathes for you. You don't even tell it to do that. And sometimes that might be thanking the fact that your thumb can move and you can switch the TV channel over. But your body can still do something. When I stopped looking at my body in such a negative way and started to just be grateful for everything it can still do, my whole mindset just changed, and I did start to feel a lot more positive about my body. I think it is also really important to remember that no one is perfect. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and hopefully it helped you. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Stop comparing yourself to celebrities? What the fuck? Oh. Sorry.